Hello traders and welcome to the London Forex Broadsheets Daily Wrap of the Markets for Tuesday, September 16th. The euro moved between the neutral pivot point at the 1.4280 area and the 1.4180 support line, unable to break significantly in either direction during the overnight session, but then broke below as S&P futures declined in the hours leading up to the Fed's announcement. In economic news, inflation in the euro area is up 3.8% from 1 year earlier, which is in line with market expectations. The core reading, excluding volatile items, rose to 1.9%, higher than the expected 1.7%. A trip into the minutiae of the 30-minute chart reveals a descending triangle that is supported at 1.4050 and has seen resistance in the 1.4150 area. History says that these will normally break to the horizontal line, so in this case it would go short. The pound moved in a 100 pip range during the overnight session, bouncing between the resistance and the support levels. The movement was choppy leading up to the Fed's decision, but the pair rose as traders bought risk on the news that the New York Fed was considering a loan to AIG. In economic news, inflation in the UK has risen to 4.7% from 1 year earlier, which is higher than the market had expected. At the same time, the core CPI was released at 2%, which is also higher than what was forecasted. We can see another pair locked in by the 30-minute chart descending triangle formation. The horizontal line is acting as support around 1.7750, and a break above 1.7900 looks to draw in some long movements. The Aussie extended losses from yesterday, falling another 200 pips during the overnight session. As with the other high-yielding currencies, the pair traded choppy during most of the New York session. The RBA released the minutes of their last meeting, and judging by what they said, they appear to be as confused as everyone else. While they believe rates may need to be tight for some time, they also said that a risk can be seen in waiting too long to cut interest rates. The 30-minute Fibonacci study on the Aussie reveals that we are at a swing point. Not only at 8,200, but the fact that the 23% and 50% price points both look just as easy to hit as each other. The loonie moved in a tight range since the US session closed yesterday, lacking any volume or momentum. The pair hovered around the neutral pivot point during the overnight sessions, moving without clear direction even as crude futures declined nearly $4 in electronic trading. The pair declined in the hour after the Fed's decision to hold rates steady and after oil made up some of the day's losses. The 30-minute chart is showing an ascending triangle that is locked in by support at 1.0690 and resistance at 1.0750. The signal will normally break towards the horizontal line, so in this case, long. The Swissy fell 50 pips during the overnight session, breaking below the 20-day moving average. The Swiss franc is strengthening for the third consecutive day, which has seen the pair decline more than 250 pips. In economic news, Swiss retail sales had a strong increase in July. Industrial production in Switzerland rose 8.9%, beating market expectations. The previous report showed the released number can be volatile and very often deviates from the expected number. However, industrial production in Switzerland is rising. The linear trend line was broken on the 30-minute chart at 1.1150 and is now locked in by the horizontal line that runs at 1.1270. This also covers the gap area from Sunday. The yen traded in a 40-pip range during the Asian session, unable to break in either direction. However, during the early hours of the European session, the yen broke the range to the downside. In economic news, the August Household Survey Index touched a new low, unseen in the 26-year history of the index. According to the release source, a staggering majority of respondents expect a rise in prices over the next 12 months. The yen chart broke the near-term trend line and now looks to run into 106.15 as resistance, and a break above that would hit 107 fairly quickly. On the upcoming economic calendar, we have 4 top-tier releases scheduled for the day. We have the Bank of Japan press conference, which usually follows their rate statement, and at 0430 we have the claimant count change and the MPC meeting minutes out of the UK, and at 0830 we have building permits from the US. In Asian equities, the Nikkei fell a whopping 564 points or 4.62% to close at 11,650, touching a 3-year low. The Australian S&P ASX lost 107 points or 2.22% to close at 4710. In European stocks, the German DAX declined 98 points or 1.63% to close at 5965. The UK FTSE tumbled 178 points or 3.43% to close at 5025. On Wall Street, at the close of floor trading on the New York Stock Exchange, the Dow was at 11,059 after gaining 141 points or 1.3%. The S&P closed at 1213, up 20 points or 1.75%, while the Nasdaq finished trading at 2207 with a gain of 27 points or 1.28%. Crude oil for October delivery fell $4.56 or 4.8% to close at $91 a barrel. Gold futures for December delivery fell $6.50 or 0.8% to close at $780 an ounce. In Treasuries, 10-year note yields rose 0.8 basis points to 3.483%. The 2-year notes yield rose 17.8 basis points to 1.905, which is still lower than the Fed's overnight rate. Overall, equity markets had a negative reaction after the Fed announced they were holding rates steady, but a very positive reaction to the news that New York Fed was again considering a loan to the troubled insurance giant AIG. After that, the dollar simultaneously fell against the euro and the pound as it gained on the yen. The typical movement that is seen as traders buy equities and borrow the yen to fund risky investments. This concludes the London Forex Broadsheet's daily wrap of the markets. We appreciate you making us part of your trading day.
All contents of the LFB are for informational purposes only and should not be used as a replacement for research by an individual investor, trader, or licensed investment professional. Neither the LFB nor any of its affiliates shall be liable for any errors, omissions, or for any actions taken in response to the information contained herein. We hereby make no representations or warranties regarding the accuracy of any information contained in this broadcast or on our site. Forex market trading involves special risks and may not be suitable for everyone. Each investor or trader should assess their financial situation and risk tolerance before proceeding. Copyright 2007, LFB Services, LLC. All rights reserved.